I'm on chapter 4 of Edgedancer. Already loving it. Already loving it. But I keep thinking, imagine a world where Wayne, the Lopin, and Lift are like on a team together, getting into whatever shenanigans they can. I mean, how fun would that be? So I'm a little ways into Edgedancer, but I want to back up because there's that little like introduction to the Roshar system that Chris put in front of Edgedancer, and I want to talk about it. First off, she said the shard of odium is on Roshar, and that odium has killed devotion, dominion, cultivation, and honor. He's killed 4 gods? Yikes. Like, truly, how do you stop someone like that? How is a regular person supposed to stop someone like that? I mean, I get it that the vessels, I guess, were regular people before they became vessels or shards, but my God. Also, she said that Roshar has so much oxygen that they can't really do fire because it'd get like crazy and out of control, which is why they use spheres and stuff. That's really cool. I love that Lift calls Wendell her pet Voidbringer. That is so funny. And honestly, I think Wendell is my favorite Spren. He's so funny. His back and forth with Lift is fantastic, but also he's so cool. He's like a sentient, like, mess of vines. Like, he's so cool. I did find it really funny that Lift is like, I should probably get one of those shard blades. And she's talking to Wendell about it, and he's like, yeah, no, you should totally look into those shard blades. And she's like, you know something, don't you? And he's like, no. She's like, I'm gonna bite you. And he's like, I love it. So then Lift goes into the city, and she goes to this orphanage, and she makes a scene because she wants Nin to like find her, or she wants to find Nin. And then Nin shows up at the orphanage, and he like, this girl steals some fruit, and he grabs her and just stabs her in the chest, like in the middle of the street, completely without remorse. That dude is crazy. And the fact that he's like a herald too, it's like, what do I do with that? I mean, that is cold-blooded. Oh, and Wendell also mentioned that, if I'm putting 2 and 2 together correctly, that he was almost going to bond with Yin, but then Nin killed him. So he's like, damn it, okay, where's this little girl at? But after seeing this Nin guy just being like, yep, here's the paperwork, I just killed this girl, and it was legal. And also, you know what? Jail would actually just, if I cut off her hand, she would do more crimes, and, you know, could have been jail, but whatever. The fact that he's so, like, does not care, but he's a herald walking around as, like, a cop, and he's like, here's the paperwork, it's legal. That's crazy. Are the other heralds just out here, like, walking around, doing random jobs and shit? I mean, I know Taln is with, Dalinar and those peeps, but, or I guess Amaram now. So, I'm very interested to see how this goes. And, like, if Wendell ever tells Lift, they're like, hey, technically I'm a shard blade, you know? I don't know, but I'm loving it so far. All right. I've already finished Edgedancer, and let's talk about it. I loved this. Absolutely loved every second of this. It had action, it had comedy, it had unexpected twists and turns, had some horror elements to it. This was awesome, and knocked it out in like a day. I mean, granted, it's only this big, where Stormlight is like this. So this was a very nice kind of little thing in between the tomes that is the Stormlight Archive. But some things. Oh my god. So Wendell, my favorite Spren, he called Nin a Skybreaker, which is a type of Radiant, but Nin is a herald, and he had 2 apprentices that were Skybreakers. So I was a little unclear as to if he was also a Skybreaker, or if he was like the herald whose knights were Skybreakers. Because from what I understand, there's like 10 heralds, there's 10 orders of Knights Radiant. And so Nin's order of Knights Radiant are the Skybreakers. Is that how that works? I don't know. Well, so he was that, and his whole thing for like forever has been killing Radiance every chance he gets, because if men bond with Spren, then the Voidbringers can world hop, which would be the worst. And I'm assuming Voidbringers are very directly tied to Odium. That's my guess. So anyway, all this is happening, and Lift goes to this orphanage, and she sees this old man who's talking about like philosophy and stuff, and I've got Hoid PTSD that every time I see an old man who's talking about philosophy, I'm like, is that you, pal? No, it is not. Because that old man is basically the mummy from The Mummy. Because he's made of cremlings in like his eye, and he like shifts and shit. It reminded me of the scene in the first Mummy movie where he's still kind of gross and the scarabs are going like in and out of orifices before he like meshes into the person. Very much felt like that, but we'll get there. So also, Lift mentioned that like her mom got sick, and I guess her mom died. That's really sad. That is really sad. And then got to see Zeth. Zeth saw Lift and had a conversation with her, and the second that he saw her, he just like unsheathed or just like unlatched Nightblood, and then Lift like got really nauseous and sick the same way that like Vivenna did, and then he was like, and just walked away. And was like, yeah, she passed the test. And they said the sword likes you. So he was straight up testing to see if she was a good person. And she was. So he didn't kill her. And then he was like, hey, you know, they're going on a mission tonight and they're totally going to kill somebody. And Lift is like, oh shit, it's got to be the old man. So she rushes to get to the old man. And the old man goes all mummy on her. But the old man killed the 2 Skybreakers, which was interesting. And the stump is also a Radiant. So it's like, how do they decide who gets to be a Radiant and who doesn't? And is there like a limit? Can you have unlimited amounts? Because there were 200 shard bearers, which I'm really bad at math. I think means there were 20 knights per order. So that was pretty wild. But anyway, so that happened. He let her go. The mummy guy, his name is Arklo, and he's a sleepless. What is sleepless? Like, is that another order of something that's like different than you got like the heralds, you got the Knights Radiant, and then you have other orders like the sleepless, or like the mercenaries, whatever Graves and Moash are doing. But then you also got the Ghost Bloods. Oh god, it's adding up. So all of that happens. Stump is a Radiant. She's been healing these kids, which is really cool. I like that. And then Lift is like, we gotta fight him. Let's do it. And then Stump shows up and like hits Nin in the face with a wooden like piece of wood. It's just like, don't touch my kids. That was pretty cool. But then he's like, please, knocks her out, throws her, stabs her, and is like, you gonna help her or not? And Lift is way too smart for that. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So they go to the roof. She gets him to go to the top, and Wendell turns into a shard blade, but he's like a rod. Like a metal rod, which sounds an awful lot like a dueling cane to me. I loved that, and I loved that when Nin was about to like cut her down, and Wendell saves her life, and he gets hit, he just says, ow. That Wendell is the best. Loved that. I love that she's basically just like a mini girl version of Wayne. Like, even the vulgar humor that she has is just delightful. But then she's like, hey, your whole thing is you're killing Radiants to stop the Everstorm from coming? Take a look, dude. It's already here. And he actually is like, oh shit, you're right. Falls to his knees, starts crying, and then she's like, oh boy. And she goes over and she hugs him. Never would have seen that coming. That was great. And then he's like, shit, I gotta go. And just like blast it off. Crazy. That was nuts. Like, where's he going? What's he doing now? Because, like, you've been pretty non-remorseful up to this point, and now you're like, shit, I was wrong. Also, an interesting parallel that he went through that moment of having to basically realize that everything he thought about his current existence was wrong or too late. And Zeth also went through a similar thing recently, finding out that he wasn't truthless. Huh. I'm just putting that together now. And then it kind of cuts to this sort of epilogue-y last chapter. And the Lift turns Wendell into a fork and is eating pancakes with it. A shard fork. delightful. Delightful. That's so good. And she's like, well, I got to go back to A's here because I think it's kind of important. This book was awesome. I loved it so much. It might be my favorite of the like standalone novels or novella. Actually, I think it definitely is. As I'm like kind of sitting in it, like maybe in a day or two, I'll be more confident in saying that out loud because I just finished it. I think this might be my favorite standalone novel / novella. This was delightful. I enjoyed this very much. Yeah. And it was short. That's why we got like 1 or 2 videos, and then now we're at the full review. But I love this. I hope there's more Lift in the future. She's fantastic. I'm interested to see how, if there are other Edgedancers, how they do things and kind of build it out. Because the Everstorm, I mean, it's here. We're in the shit now. Yeah, this was great. I absolutely loved it. And now, whew, I'm going right into Oathbringer. Let's do this shit.